This video is about decoding combined shapes. So combined shapes are shapes like this, which are a combination of shapes that we know. So how do you decode it? I think one aspect could be just the children should be used to playing with these shapes. So this is what I thought of. You can have tangrams and you can play with them, and we can probably make the unit dimension in the tangrams, which is a smaller square. We can have quarter circles made for it, so they can play that along with the tangram, so they can create their own shapes. That's the idea of these two. So you get to see the patterns. The third thing is you should know for each shape what is needed, and the fourth is you should know what is given, right? So if I look at these shapes, these are all some example shapes that were in the Tamil Nadu textbook. Then if I have a table that helps me understand what are the things I need. In a circle, all I need is radius. In an equilateral triangle, all I need is a side. In a square, I need a side. So these three just need one thing. For a rectangle, I need both length and breadth. And for a trapezium, I need three things. I need to know the opposites. I need to know the parallel sides. And I need to know what is the height. So if I have an idea of this, and there are many more in the book that we can identify, then we can work on these combined shapes. So this one we can see is a quarter circle. So quarter, 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 that's a full circle. Together this will make a full circle, and that will be a square. Here we can of course see that this is a trapezium, and even though this is supposed to be a card that's folded, it's immaterial for us. We can take this trapezium and then we can take the rectangle. And in the book itself it's given that we could have also looked at it as a large rectangle of 8 plus 8 plus 8, 24 times 16, and remove this, and you would get the same shape. This is trivial, 5 centimeters given. We know all three of them require just one item, and of course here it's the radius is 2.5. It's half of this. What is more challenging is the calculation, and how can we make the calculation quicker and faster. This of course can be cut, and it's just two rectangles. This is an interesting shape. And the way this has been decoded is that I look at 1 and 2, areas of 1 and 2, yeah? And I do that by removing two semicircles. Then I look at area of 2 and 4, and I remove two semicircles. So that gives me the combined area of 1 and 1 plus 3 and 2 plus 4. And then I remove 1 plus, let's say I should have written it that way. I remove 1 plus 3 and 2 plus 4 from the total. Then I'll get the shape that was not colored when we started. I have just colored it to show that it's removed. So I think the main challenge is in this is that children should be able to recognize patterns. They should know what's needed, and they should be able to compare with what's given. Can I get what is needed from what is given? So I'm not going to look at these because these are just regular whole numbers, and they are like rectangles, trapeziums. But in this, children should be able to identify that 3.5 is half of 7. So in this question I would use pi as 22 by 7. Right? So I have 22 by 7 times r square. So that is 3.5 centimeter square. So I'm basically doing these four areas together, right? Right. And then basically cancel one of them with 2, and then the product becomes easier to do. I would also encourage children to know the squares and shortcuts for taking squares. And also in case if it's 5, then you just have to multiply 3 times 4, which is 12. So these will make their life easy, also for them to know some of these squares. With the 2.5 again, the 2.5 squares are easy to do. It's 2 times 3, 6, 6.25 is the square here, right? This is of course 5 centimeter square, and root 3 by 2 or root 3 by 4, you need to know root 3 is 1.732. So these are some of the things that children should know. So my guess is that there's a mix-up between the calculation part and actually identifying the structure and shape part. The identifying the structure and shape part is a more something I can play with. But the calculation part, I need to really be able to identify those patterns and calculations as well.